And I'm Kyle Meredith. It is WFPK Winter Wednesday, the final one of the season. And Mr. John Paul White's going to be closing it out, closing the doors.
Oh, God. It sounds so ominous.
It's you, man.
I'm the perfect guy to end this thing. Yeah.
It's the doom, the big gray cloud floating into the Clifton Center.
I get that a lot. I do. I embrace that a lot as well, so bring it on.
We think of you as a sweet guy, but I mean, it's Gothic Americana, isn't it?
Some of it's show and some of it's not. I am definitely a very reserved guy, and I tend to live on the edges of everything. You know, the dark side is what usually is the most is what's most intriguing for me.
Yeah.
So.
John Paul White living on the edge.
Yeah. Bon Jovi covers. Yeah,
was that Bon Jovi? That was Aerosmith.
Wait, no, Living on the Edge of a Broken Heart.
Oh, that's a different one. Yeah.
Vixen.
We're doing two different.
We just did an 80s metal segment.
I think we can close this out right now. It's all downhill.
I would so much more rather talk about 80s metal than me.
You know, it's funny. I have my notes here, and I have like a few songs, and we'll get to it. But on one of them, I said, "Fight for You." That's your heavy metal song.
It is.
As far as the album Beulah goes, that's your heavy metal song.
It is me trying to get away with those old Zeppelin riffs. I sneak them in there whenever I possibly can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you're a fan of music, and you've played some covers in the past, but I mean, do you ever rip that out at home? You ever go in just like, I can't do this. I've got to play something.
And shred?
Yeah.
I very seldom play at home, honestly. I've got 4 kids, 3 at home, and they will destroy my guitars. So at some point, I just decided, you know what, and I play all the time. So when I'm home, I just want to relax. So I very, very seldom play if I'm not on the road. Now, after saying that, my 14-year-old he's got the bug.
Oh.
So he shreds. I mean, the faster, the better. And so I help him with that, and that's been so much fun. He told me, he said, "Dad, I want to learn how to play guitar. Will you help me?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd love to help you." And he said, "Okay, but I don't want to play like you."
That was my question. Is like, how does he feel about what you're, putting out? That's so Dad's music.
He loves it, but he stands outside of it and loves it. It's not who he is, and
Sure.
and I've really pushed him to figure out who he is and what you love, and that doesn't mean that that's all you can love. And so he's very supportive and loves what I do, but he wants to be James Hetfield. He does not want to be John. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, fortunately, the history of rock. It's like you can still guide him to some of these bands. Like, I know these artists.
He's listening to the same records I did, and I didn't make that happen. But when I was his age, I was listening to Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and Megadeth and Metallica and AC/DC and all this stuff, and that's exactly who he listens to.
Yeah.
Although he's filled in the blanks with the internet, he can hear anything he wants, anytime he wants. So I can't even imagine what that would have been like. It would have been
to have all of that.
Blissful, yeah.
I mean, you get in those teenage years and you get so instantly obsessive. I mean, you remember how that feeling is. You don't have to try. You're obsessed.
Yes.
And the way it comes in, I mean, I remember, I'd go and buy the CD or whatever, and I'm in Litchfield, Kentucky, in the middle of nowhere, and Walmart, I think, is the only thing, and you run and get it, you run home, and on the very first listen, I've got the booklet open, and I'm trying to memorize every single word, but if I had everything, I don't know how I would have dealt with it.
I have a theory that it's not for the best, because I did the exact same as you, and I would read every liner note. I'd read who produced it, who wrote it, what label put it out,
right.
all those things. And some of it didn't make any sense to me, but I memorized it all because it was all I had.
Yeah.
And the only songs I could learn was the ones that I owned or my friends owned or Top 40 radio would play. So you were just limited to that, and so you obsessed about them. Mm-hmm. But now he's got everything at his fingertips, and so he just kind of glides over it all. It's few and far between that a song really hooks him and he gets super into it. And it's just a completely different existence. The problem with that is, as a producer of music, it's tough. There's so much noise out there. There's so many people vying for his attention that, I mean, the odds are so against you that you get that attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll say, as a music fan now,
yeah.
I mean, that's what spend all my time trying to hear every song that's ever created,
Yeah.
but I don't spend the time that I used to. I don't know that I would at this point either.
Yeah.
So it's, I do want to hear all the sounds all at one time.
And as a consumer, you're exactly right. It's great. It's
Yeah.
a great time to be alive.
But as an artist.
But as an artist, it's tough.
Yeah.
Now, having said all that, anyone can make a record in their bedroom and have it up online and available within an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And, that changes the entire playing field. And so it used to be that you had to have a major label deal
Mm-hmm.
to get distribution so that you and I as kids would ever hear their record. Without distribution, we would never know a band existed.
Right.
So that's great for artists that you have that voice now that you didn't used to, and you can promote a record for so much cheaper. But everyone's figured that out.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
It's tough.
I'm going to bring back around to you because you're talking about that stuff that you grew up listening to. How do you then go from, all the heavy sounds to eventually a record like Beulah, which is
Yeah.
this beautiful record, but is completely, when did you settle with this sound?
I don't know if I ever have. I think every single time I make a record, I have morphed from the last record.
Mm-hmm.
And, 2006, 2007, I made my first solo record. It was definitely more a rock and roll record. And then with the Civil Wars, with being part of a duo, it was kind of an amalgamation of two people's different experiences and loves for music. And so now I'm back in that place of, all right, I say what goes on every single note here, and what does go, what does make sense, and what blows my skirt up. And so it's
a nice
Beulah,
skirt too.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's not as cheap as I look. The thing with Beulah is that it came so fast and furious that I had no time to even think about what it should or should not sound like. Once I finally turned on the tap, it came out really quickly, and you get what you get, and warts and all.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very proud of it for that reason. I'll probably never make another record that way. Everything else probably will be more thought about. But that record was just almost stream of consciousness. It came out so fast, and I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, I don't know how it couldn't have. There was so much happening in your life, and we were talking a little bit off mic here. Like, I don't know exactly how much of it pertains to, your previous band, the Civil Wars, but when you have that in your mind, and as a fan, how can you not? It starts the stories. It's very interesting to look at.
It's funny. I looked back at it after I had written songs, and I'd look at it and be like, "Oh God, what are people going to think this means?"
Yeah.
And so I changed the lyric on some of it because I didn't want people to think that I was pulling from that, and the songs weren't as good for it. So I put them back the way they were and said, hell with it. The song was meant to be written the way it was written. And, I have always said, and I still always say, that I do not write intensely biographically because that bores me. It bores me when other people do it. I like songs that I can imagine myself as the character in the song. Instead of something that's so intensely biographical that I have to just stand outside of it and marvel at it. I'd rather it be vague and allow the listener in and make it their story. And so that's how I tend to write. I don't tend to write just about myself. But obviously, bits and pieces of you show up in those things, especially if you're really just a conduit and letting the stuff fall out. It comes from everything you've heard, seen, touched, read, whatever. It all comes from there.
And I can say that, you succeed in this too. The album does have universal, everything you're talking about, any of us could go through. I think it's just when, people follow it, it's hard for them to not go, hey, it's that,
Yeah.
and it kind of ends up what it is, I guess.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I tried for a minute to avoid it, but it weakened the material, so I left it as it was.
By the next record, it'll all be gone.
That's true. You know what? It's funny. I think Jason Isbell was the one. Somebody said something about, well, now you're married and kid and sober, and are those songs going to go away? And he's like, man, any moment of any day, you can read about or think about, or you can experience songwriting material, darkness, happiness, whatever. I mean, it's all around us all the time. So, and I tend to write about the sun when it's raining. So, as happy as I am at home and as happy as I am with my kids and everything, I'm always drawn to those kind of songs. So, I'm not going to mislead anyone and say that my next record will be happy, because it probably won't, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Well, we're fans for a reason.
Good.
You want to play us a happy song?
No. Should I go? Should I just go? Is this happy song hour?
This is not Happy Song Hour. I want to hear a John Paul White song. John Paul White's playing tonight at the Clifton Center for WFPK's Winter Wednesday with River Wireless on there on the bill. The details are at WFPK.org. What are you going to play?
Once and Future Queen.
All right, it's 91.9.
Someone's gonna hold your hand, everything clear, touch you in some unknown way that finally does the trick, pull you in a fairy tale where you were meant to be. Someone won't be me. Someone's out there praying for the day that you walk in, and happy ever after can finally begin. Someone who's starving nothing to give you all you need. Someone won't be me, and that's okay. I never really loved you anyway, at least not unconditionally, like subjects love the once and future queen. If I thought I was good for you, if I thought this could work, I'd reach a little higher and pull you back to earth with the man you're really looking for, the one in all your dreams. Someone won't be me, and that's okay. You never really loved me anyway, not enough to meet me half the way. Oh, love is something you could only take. And that's okay. I never really loved you anyway, at least not unconditionally, like subjects love the once and future queen.
John Paul White, the once and future Queen, that you can hear on his album Beulah. You're on 91.9 WFPK. That's it's about Beyonce, right?
Oh, we all wish.
It's a song you wrote about Beyonce.
Yeah.
And good for you.
Thank you very much.
Good.
Somebody down the road wrote that I wrote it about my daughter.
Oh, really?
No, no. What? I'm dark. I'm not that dark. So, no, it's not.
John Paul White playing tonight at the Clifton Center for WFPK's Winter Wednesday. Again, the details are WFPK.org. I was thinking with the Beyonce and the Grammys and everything, and Sturgill winning Country Album of the Year.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know Sturgill.
I do.
I assume it's a small community.
Well,
we
it
all
is,
end up knowing
but
everyone.
he and I are both. I wouldn't say antisocial, but we're not the hangout. At the bar after the show kind of guys. So I've only been around him a little, but I dig the guy.
Yeah.
A lot. We got a lot of mutual friends.
You kind of skirt on, the country music side of things. Do you think that'll change what they're doing in Nashville at all? That he's winning, the Country Album of the Year. Does that push that needle at all?
No. And that's not a they should or they shouldn't kind of statement. I think it will open the door for a lot of people that. I think they may take some more chances with some stuff, but at the end of the day, they're paid to follow that dollar sign and market share and what the focus groups tell them to do. And again, that's no indictment. They are doing the job that they were given, and what Sturgill does and what I do and what Jason does and it's apples and oranges, really.
It's true.
What's country and what's not country? Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an old question, and it's an invalid question. I think what's good and what's not is really the question. When people gripe about the way music is made and the instrumentation and all that and whether there's enough twang or there's not, that's not the problem. It's just the actual quality of the songs. And Sturgill spends a lot of time, and Jason does too, and there's a long list of them. And Chris Stapleton, that song is first and foremost, and they're not going to polish something up like some will. It's at the root of it, it's great, and I aspire to that. I don't aspire to sales. I don't aspire to market share or anything. And you can, my career will show that. But, I sleep really well at night.
Yeah.
That's how I choose to go about it.
Well, again, there's a reason why we're fans, and it shows. Of course, we're fans of Sturgill and Jason. We play all of them, and it's our type. Just one of those things where when you get lumped in Americana and country and whatever that is. I was kind of laughing because what you were saying and going back to your son is that that's nearly a millennial statement right there. It's like genre is out, you like what you like, and you want the good song. So congratulations and welcome to the millennial generation.
Well, I've had grief about that before. Like we should preserve the country music thing. We have a.
And you are, in a sense, by the way.
Well, that's
in
what
the
I
old
say
style that we feel
then
about.
Go make a country record.
Yeah.
Go make a record that you deem country. I mean, at the end of the day, none of the people that make music that I love go into that studio intending to make a country record or a non-country record. No, they just go in and write the best songs they possibly can and record them in the best way that they possibly can and perform them in the best way that they can. And anybody that goes in with, we have to make this a country, whatever that means, country record, and pay homage to our ancestors, I think usually fall flat of the mark because when they made those records, it was timely. And the records Sturgill's making now and that Jason's making now, those are timely records. But they harken back to those people that were their heroes, and you can hear it in there. Country is probably the one genre that holds on so tightly to that. No one, rock doesn't, jazz doesn't.
I've heard someone say it's not ever been a purist format because it's always changed and everything, and it's always been people like me that's like, come on, what is that? I'm the one complaining.
Yeah.
But
And
it's never been a
get it.
purist format.
But I usually don't complain that they're ruining country, whatever. I just think, man, they're making some really horrible records, just quality-wise horrible records. And so that's really the beef for me.
Right.
And
why put out more bad music
but
in the world? But at the
end of the day, millions of people are buying those records.
It's true.
So who's
laughing all the way to the bank?
Yeah, who's right and who's wrong? I guess it's kind of the parallel with the Trump phenomenon. It's like, who's buying these records? Who's voting for this guy? Millions. It may not be you.
Not the popular vote, but it's
So there are a lot of people really happy about the music that's being made, and good for you. Eat it up.
And I do subscribe to that because I am a belief in music and the power of music. And as long as you're listening, then that's the bottom line. If you're listening and you're enjoying, then we all still get to keep doing what we're doing.
Which is exactly the parallel with politics, is that people are definitely listening and paying attention and doing and getting involved. And so if there is a bright side to all of this, it's that people are awake.
Yeah.
And, music can use that too.
We're all woke.
Well, yeah, that's what my kids say.
John Paul White, you're on 91.9 WFPK. I want to ask before we get to the second song real quick, though. You didn't think that you were going to do this record, and it just happened. Now that you're back on the horse, you think it's going to be...
I'm staying on.
You're on the horse.
For the foreseeable future. I say all the time I want to do this for the rest of my life, but what I want to do for the rest of my life is be happy.
Yeah.
And when I play shows right now, I'm very happy. I'm enjoying playing these songs. I'm enjoying meeting people and reconnecting again. But I'll tell you right now, when that's not the case, I'll go home because I've got a great thing.
Yeah.
And they'll welcome me with open arms. So it's it's record by record, really, for me. That's my only rule. I just want to be happy from now on.
Well, we're happy that you're happy doing this right now. I love the record, Beulah. John Paul White is playing tonight at the Clifton Center, helping us close out the WFPK Winter Wednesday season. You can get the details at WFPK.org. On a new guitar for this second song. What are you going to get to close us out here?
All right, I'm going to do one that I think y'all been playing. This one's called What So?
All right, it's 91.9 WFPK. John Paul White's What's So 91.9 WFPK. I love that subtle note change in the bridge right there towards the end. Such a good song. The new album Beulah is out. He will be closing out tonight's WFPK Winter Wednesday at the Clifton Center, WFPK.org. And thank you for dropping by and playing and for the great conversation, man.
Pleasure, man. I enjoy it. I'm not usually so talkative, so there must be something about y'all.
It's my eyes.
Is that what it is?
It's my eyes.
I've been away from home for a while. It's probably what it is.
I know.
My weakness.
Thank you so much for dropping by, man.
Thanks, man. Have me again.
Yep, we'll see you tonight. Stop by anytime.